Welcome to our home buyer event today. I'm Kalisha Anderson, the realtor.
Everybody, I am Katie Guerrero with Movement Mortgage, and we are so excited to do this event with you today.
I am Jerry London. I'm an attorney and also the owner of MPR Title. I will be the person that you'll be coming to see when it's time to get your keys.
Hey, you guys, it's Laura Garza with Goosehead Insurance, Laura Garza Agency. Good to see y'all. Welcome.
Welcome aboard, everybody. So we are going to get started today. Are y'all ready, ladies?
I'm so
ready.
All right,
So
we're
ready.
going to give you guys the roadmap to home ownership. Are y'all ready to hear that today? Because we're ready to give it to y'all.
We're ready.
Y'all ready to hear it?
You're ready.
All right.
Let's go.
All right, well, let's get it started because that's what you're here for. So we got a lot of good information to cover today, and we're going to get right on with it. Okay?
Let's
do it.
All right, information about broker services. Texas law requires real estate realtors to get...
Girl, we know you're a realtor.
Okay, we know.
We all know, guys.
Good.
Texas law requires us as realtors to give you guys the information about us being licensed in the state of Texas. So I am a Texas licensed realtor, and I work for Ultima Real Estate, but I own the KNA Homes Group. Okay? So we have to disclose that to everybody, as you all know. Okay?
Yeah.
Everybody has that. All right. So congratulations on taking the first step to become a homeowner. Isn't this the hardest step, y'all think?
The hardest.
Everybody?
It's such the hardest.
Why do y'all think this
It
is the
is.
hardest step?
It's
They're taking the
scary.
time out of their day to be here with us.
And it's the biggest, this is the largest amount of money that you're going to spend almost probably ever in your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, you're talking about hundreds of thousands of dollars that
I
you're
agree.
spend.
And I also think that the reason why this is the hardest step, and tell me if I'm right or wrong, is because people are scared of no.
Oh,
Yes,
They're
absolutely.
scared to be
Yeah.
denied.
Oh,
right?
That's
of course.
true.
So I think today, me and my team are here to tell you guys that home ownership is actually at our arm's reach, and it's not impossible to become a homeowner. And I think a lot of people think that even being told no, I wouldn't say that we ever tell anybody no.
No.
Would you say
Right.
that? We might just say not right now.
Yeah.
But we are also going to guide you and help you to understand the process and knowing what you need to do to give you the tools necessary to get it done to become a homeowner.
Yeah.
Can y'all
Right.
say?
It's never a no. It's when.
It's
Yeah,
a
absolutely.
matter of when.
Exactly.
So
Absolutely.
I take pride in making sure that we do that. So renting versus buying. How many of you guys at least pay $1,300 in rent right now?
Raise your
I see
hands.
y'all's hands. Y'all paid $1,300 in rent, right?
I mean, well, you know, I kind
Or
of bought
more.
one back in the day, so I didn't have to. But I mean,
Okay.
at the time that I bought, it was around like $1,000. You know, but again, that was like almost
long time
15
ago.
That was like 15 years ago.
And I would say at least a one bedroom right now is probably about $1,300.
Oh,
A
yeah.
one bedroom. Do y'all
A
remember that's what
one-bedroom.
2 bedroom, 2 baths?
Oh,
used to
yeah.
go for?
Oh,
that's
yeah.
about a
The
one
average people that I do apps for are paying $1,800 to $2,100 in
Ooh,
rent.
wow.
I'm sorry, what?
If you're paying that much right now,
Ooh,
The
Wow.
average
we need to fix
person.
that.
Yes.
That's a lot.
I know.
Wow.
that's a lot.
That's
It's
a
a
lot
lot.
of money.
It's
All right.
time.
Too
Well,
much.
if you guys are at least paying I would say $1,400. If you've been renting for at least 5 years, raise your hands. Okay, a lot of you.
Oh, we see a lot of hands going up.
A lot of hands. 5
Yep.
years,
Yep.
at least 5 years. You've already paid in $84,000.
That's a lot of money.
Insane.
84.
And that's 0%, so you
crazy.
get nothing
You
back.
get nothing back. $84,000. So when people say I can't really afford a house, I'm like, huh? What do you mean?
can.
Do you know that's just rent amount? That's not including water, trash,
Yeah.
gas, any of what the apartment charges. That's
Exactly.
just in rent.
Yeah.
And as you guys know, rent goes up what?
Every year.
Every single year.
Every year.
So you have at least paid $84,000 in the amount of 5 years.
Yeah,
in
that's
that
crazy.
length of time. That's crazy. So when you buy your house and you pay your monthly mortgage, you can gradually accumulate what it's called. The lenders call it
Equity.
You say equity.
Equity.
Katie, what do you say about equity? What can equity do
Oh,
for
equity is
us?
beautiful. Equity is what you pay in and what the market says your house is worth. So just to give you an example, when I first built my house from the ground up 8 years ago, I built my house for $129,900.
Wow.
I'm sorry,
How
what?
much? How much?
I know, it was $129,900.
Wow.
Dang.
Dang.
Wow.
And you cannot do that today. That is
No,
not
you can't.
possible today.
That's unheard of.
8 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
8 years ago. Today, the same house is worth $275,000.
Yeah.
I'm
Wow.
sorry, what?
Yeah.
Yes. Today, the same house is worth
That's crazy.
$275,000.
Crazy.
So, if I had been in the same mortgage, I sold that house. I should have kept it, but I ended up selling the house. But that house did get me to my next house, my dream house.
Okay.
But if I was still paying, say, 8 years, and I had paid in $40,000, I would have made a profit of that. So that's equity. What your house is worth and what you've paid into your home. The difference of that is equity. And so I was able to buy my dream home because I had been paying my mortgage on time. I'd built that equity. So it's a beautiful thing.
That's awesome.
When you go to your apartment, when you leave your apartment, you don't get that.
You don't get
anything.
None of that is
you
yours
actually
to take.
owe them money for the deposits and the cleaning and the carpet and everything you have to do. You don't get money back.
No.
They don't
They
hand
also
you
like to-
80 grand
Yeah.
to go buy the house you want. So that's why we're here today, to learn about equity and these things to help you build your future.
great example.
I
Katie.
always say owning a home is the first step to financial freedom.
I agree 100%.
I agree.
There you go.
There you go. All right. Great example, Katie. I love that. Understanding the market. So how many of you guys think that this is a buyer's market right now?
A couple hands
Okay,
up.
all
There's a
right.
couple.
A couple.
All right.
How many of you guys actually think it's a seller's market right now?
All
Okay.
right, that's about almost half the row.
Yeah. Well, I would say, and tell me if I'm right or wrong, ladies, but I actually still think that we're right in the middle. Right?
I do too.
And here's the reason why I feel that is because interest rates are low.
Yeah.
Right.
Real
True.
low.
So even though there's not a lot of inventory on the market, which this is a market I've never seen ever.
Ever.
Since I've been in
Crazy.
real
Ever.
estate 7 years, I've
crazy.
never seen this particular market ever. Have y'all?
No.
Because
I
I've
have
never
not.
seen rates this low.
Woo.
I've been in the business 10 years. I've never seen rates like
And
this.
what would you say what are the rates right now, Katie?
I don't know that I can tell you legally.
Okay.
But I can tell you I can count them on this many fingers.
Woo.
Okay?
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Let's just say this. She can count. Rates are at an all-time low.
They are
Yes,
very-
they're at
they
an
are
all-time low.
absolutely the lowest,
I've
that
ever
I've ever
seen.
seen.
Yeah.
them.
Wow.
I mean, I would say this, from the title company side, because we are one of the ones that see, what the rates are for many of the
Right.
buyers or,
Yeah.
what have you. And just like 2 years ago, people were buying homes and they were at like 5%.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
that's a
not
lot.
too long ago,
That's the truth.
we
That's a lot.
closed someone who was under like 2% on a home, a brand new home.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Crazy.
that makes a lot of difference. How Kalisha and Katie just spoke about equity, that goes into your equity, because depending on what your interest rate is, you may be able to pay into your equity a lot faster.
I would
Or being able to
than
afford
for
more
home.
Yes.
Exactly. That is
That
key.
is it.
Being able to
Right.
afford more
That's it.
home.
Yeah.
Than having to, than what it was a couple of years ago. Because the rates a couple of years ago, like it was, it was good for the time, but now, oh my gosh,
Right.
This is the best time
Just
to buy.
for like an example, a $200,000 a year mortgage a few years ago may have been $200 higher than what it
Yes.
is
Yeah.
right now.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you
Correct.
can afford more home based off of today's market and today's interest rate.
Yes, absolutely.
It's
That is
insane.
correct. And the reason why I also say it's a seller's market is because, just in a quick example, my last listing had 46 offers.
That's crazy.
That's
So
insane.
crazy.
Y'all, 46
I know.
offers
That's a
on
lot.
a house
Crazy.
in DeSoto. It was
Yeah.
priced at, guys, $230,000. And I had realtors that actually text me and called me and said, "Do you have this price incorrectly?" As though I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to do my job, because they hadn't seen something built like that, and that they really thought it was something wrong.
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
it was very nice. The pictures were beautiful, professional, and they were just like, "I can't believe something like this is on the market for $230." So 46 offers.
That's crazy.
So for sellers right now, because there's not enough inventory on the market, sellers are getting top dollar.
oh yeah,
Top dollar. I was able to get a cash offer
Nice.
$10,000 over asking.
Yep.
Yeah.
10,000, which made the comps in that area go up because we accepted a cash offer for $10,000 over. And it's hard, right?
Yeah.
So when
Yeah.
I say that we're actually in the middle, is because literally buyers are getting great interest rates right now, which in fact they're getting more house. They're able to afford more house,
Right.
and then sellers are still getting top dollar.
exactly.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Wouldn't y'all agree with that?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I do.
All right. So, pre-qualified versus pre-approval. This is one of the biggest things that I think that clients is misconstrued, I would
Yeah.
say. Because there's a difference, guys, in being pre-qualified versus pre-approved. And
Yeah.
Katie is going to give a great example on that, because I didn't know myself what
Yeah.
that was until
Yeah.
I started working with her, and she was like, "Oh no, honey, there's a difference. There's a difference."
There is a
and I said, "Okay,
difference.
well,
There's
what-
a difference.
You tell me, girl."
And so the difference is I will have everybody that does an application with me, they'll do the application, and And most people will do an application, and this is my name, and this is my job, and I've been on my job for, how long have I been here, hon? Hey, babe, how long have I been at? Okay. I think it's like 3 years.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, I think I make about $3,000 a month. Hey, I get child support. I think it's about $900. So pre-qualification means that you've done the application, and I'm taking your word for it. I'm taking your word for you get about this much money a month. You get about this in child support. You get about that much. It's your interpretation of your life, which may or may not be an accurate interpretation of it.
I may want to be. I might want to feel like I am like grand. You know,
right? Yes, and that's okay. And you don't know what you don't know. So you put this on an application, and then we go through and we verify it. And investor laws are very different. So we have to have a 2-year history of everything, and you have to have had child support for so long, and there are things that you have to have on your application. So pre-qualification means I've looked at everything that you've told me as face value. Right. And I'm going to give you an application, a pre-qualification based off of what you told me on your app. A pre-approval means I've verified it. I went through and I called your employer. I went through and I looked at your assets. I looked at your tax returns. I looked at how much money you have in the bank. And I'm basing that off of, look, I have an underwriter on my team personally that's looked at all of your information. We have verified and validated all of that information. So it's an offer same as cash. When you have a pre-approval, it means somebody's actually looked at that. That means that when you are up against a cash offer, you're pre-approved. You're not pre-qualified, and don't think that buyers and sellers they know the difference.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody knows the difference. So when you're up against another offer, you want a pre-approval.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Because there is so many lenders that are giving falsified pre-approvals.
Oh,
absolutely.
my goodness.
I would say falsified pre-qualification letters, not pre-approval.
Yes.
But
it's a big deal.
I actually just had a transaction the other day where, unfortunately, the buyer didn't go with the realtor's preferred lender, and that lender kept saying that they were good, and of course, on the lender, side, after you get the pre-qual or the pre-approval, and then you're looking for the appraisal, and they kept looking for it, and it was like, I'll get back to you. They waited until the closing day, and come to find out, nothing had been done. Nothing. So this person, and it's really important. I tell people, if I'm able to get them before they get with someone, is you need to get with a realtor you trust and go with their preferred lender, because it's a reason why they're telling you, hey, these are my preferred people. And this is the reason why Katie's here on this team, because Kalisha knows that she can take you out to a home and know that the information that she's received from Katie is accurate and true.
Yeah, because it's not an 8 to 5 for a preferred lender, right?
Yeah,
like for me and Katie, there's time on weekends after hours. I'm like, when I'm taking my clients to a new build or even a home, which typically before we go out, we're getting the mortgage payments, the estimated mortgage payment. But when it's on a new build, as you guys know, it's weekends, right?
Exactly.
Most of the time it's weekends. So when I'm calling Katie on the weekend and I'm trying to get based on factoring in what the base price is, and then an estimated cushion amount for them for upgrades and incentives at the design center, then I'm going to get that estimated payment based on the extra $25,000-$30,000 on top of that base price, and to make sure I'm giving them an accurate estimated payment. So that's why it's very important, because if you go with a lender that works 8 to 5 and don't work weekends, then you really want that house, and they may only have that incentive until Sunday. Yeah. And then if we can't talk to a lender on the weekend and we have to wait till Monday, well, guess what? You've just missed all the opportunities, because that incentive may have ended on Sunday. Yeah. So that's why it's very important, guys, why us realtors probably talk about having a preferred lender and why it's so important. Of course, you have options. You have options with the realtor, with the lender, with title, with even insurance. But there's a reason why my team is so important and why I encourage my people to go through my team, because we truly have it all together, and it's easy for me to call each one of these ladies 7-8 o'clock at night, to make sure I'm getting accurate information for you guys.
Exactly.
When you say the truth.
Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely. And we're all seasoned individuals. Like we've been in the business many, many, many years.
Right. Yeah.
So we all work together as a team, and I think that makes a huge difference as well.
It does.
When I refer people to Laura or vice versa or Jerry, it's because I've been working with this team for years.
Exactly.
It makes a huge difference in who you choose.
And guys, that's important too.
It is
the
important.
all women's team.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, men.
I was gonna say,
But hey.
Give it up for my ladies, though. Because I literally, I would say I handpicked these ladies.
You did.
Because I wanted to
She did.
have a team. When I say a team, I wanted to have a team where we're the head honchos in our own field, and we all have the same end goal, and that's to help families get into a home, and that's to give them a game plan, and that's to make sure that they understand that home ownership is not what you've heard from a friend or a family. It doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't even have to be scary if you have the right team.
Exactly.
So that's why it's so important to have and hire the correct team. Guys, don't just hire any realtor. It's very important. Wouldn't y'all say that?
Interview your realtor.
Interview. I'm assuming that you guys are all on this call to work with me and my team, right? Because y'all know about me on social media. Y'all seen me. Y'all probably done y'all's homework. Bravo to y'all.
Yes.
So if you're on this call today, it's because you've actually seen me on social media or referral. Most of my business is referrals, and it's very important to me and my team that we actually help. You know, we take pride in doing this stuff after hours, on weekends, and making sure that, you know, we're helping you and your family achieve this goal. Yeah,
exactly.
And we've helped hundreds of families do that. And this is different for us, guys. You know, this is different too, because we're usually face to face.
That's true.
So right now that we're virtual, I would say it's different.
It is new.
We miss being in front of y'all.
I know.
We can't feel y'all's energy, but we want you guys to know how passionate we are about this.
We love what we do, or we wouldn't be here.
We definitely do.
Yeah.
And moving on to, once you do get your pre-qualification letter versus your pre-approval letter, Katie's going to require what it is called a lender's checklist.
Yes.
Which is very important.
It is very, very important. So just so you know, anybody that's not self-employed, it's super simple. Just send me your documents.
Ooh.
Send me your documents.
ASAP.
Please. I only want 2 years W-2s, a driver's license, and pay stubs to start. I'm going to make you interlink your assets to my uploaded system, so I'm going to have all of your assets and stuff. So really all you're going to send to me is pay stubs, W-2s, driver's license. Self-employed is going to need 2 years tax returns. Jerry, all these girls here know.
It was like us three.
Exactly. All of them know. I'm like, I need your taxes. I need to see your taxes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so you guys
go.
see my taxes?
And so many people, just so you guys know about, how many of you guys are self-employed?
A few of you.
Yeah, a few
Some
of you.
of y'all.
Well, it's very important for my self-employed people. I'm really talking because we're self-employed, right?
Yeah.
How important it is to not start at the last minute if you want to buy a house, guys.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Because taxes, we're not going to go into that too much, but taxes are
it's a
so
big deal.
important for the
big deal.
lender to look at your taxes before going to file your taxes with your CPA
Oh my gosh.
or with your friend or family member that does
big deal.
taxes. It's such a big deal. I sweat every time I'm thinking about it.
Every time these ladies bought houses with me, let me tell you, when we would talk about tax, you're like, Katie, that's Katie.
Hey, like I said, hey. So on a personal note, I'm in the process of buying our second home.
Woohoo.
And I'm going through Katie, of course. And, when we're doing our taxes, I was like, so, hey. So this is how we do our stuff.
Right. Yeah. Don't judge.
So what we got to do, because we all know as business owners,
Right.
I mean, our goal is to, you want to try to keep as much as possible, pay taxes where you need to pay them, etc.
Absolutely.
But, also too, for us, because we have to file our taxes, and typically we always do an extension.
Right.
We ended up, our close date is like right there on the, we're right on the cusp.
Right
And
on
I'm like,
that line.
hey, we got to close this house.
Yep.
So I can't pay no more taxes. I can't do this anymore. I can't file taxes again. But I would definitely say it's very, very important, especially as a self-employed person, because one thing I would say about Katie, and I would say this, I had also worked with the builder's lender, and they did not give me the guidance that I needed to get from Katie and her team. And so if you are self-employed, especially speaking from someone, not just because I think she's great and we do business together, but me personally, and me being in this field for the last 5 years, I've been able to work with Katie, and I trust her with my own process. And
absolutely.
so, you look at the simple fact that if you have people who are here, we're not just here working together as a team, but working together in our personal lives, in our own personal
We're trusting each other personally.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that makes a huge difference. And so I would definitely say, that one thing I loved about it is because even though I worked on her with the self-employment side, that I figured that if she works with me like this on self-employment side, she works with this with all her customers.
Yes,
and
that's true.
that's really key.
Very true.
You know,
We're going to take care of you no matter what.
Right.
So self-employed, W-2, it doesn't matter. We're going to make sure that you are on your path. That way you all have a pre-approval when you go shop for a home, because nobody wants to go to that home. They fall in love with
They're
this
heartbroken.
home.
Oh, man.
And then they get
That's
to
the
that
worst.
home and then they can't buy
Did you
it
have
because
that,
they're not
Felicia?
pre-approved.
Yeah.
And that happened before. It's happened.
It's happened.
You know what? It
It's
happened
happened.
one time, and then we got it together, and it doesn't
Yeah. She
happen
looks
anymore.
very
So-
yeah.
Early on in our
early,
on. Yeah.
but it doesn't happen
And it
anymore.
wasn't with Katie.
Yeah, it
It wasn't with Katie.
No.
y'all.
Yeah.
It wasn't with Katie.
But I mean, we've all
But it was
had
because
those
I
experiences.
trusted my client and their lender. Their
Yeah.
lender that they wanted. Because, of course, as a realtor, I have to give you your own option. Your own option to go with who you want. But at the end of the day, the realtors do get blamed, right? We get blamed for everything.
Because
But
you're the first person.
We're the first person.
Yes.
And my thing is, when you go outside of people that I've built for that same reason, I can't help you in all the
Right.
ways that you would want and need my help. Because I don't know their process. I don't know how they work. And I don't really know if it's true. Because at the end of the day, my job is to be your realtor. Not the lender,
Yeah.
not title, not insurance.
Exactly.
So if you're asking me about lender stuff, then that automatically tells me right there, you have the wrong person.
Exactly.
Because that
You
means
shouldn't
you're
be
not getting
asking.
educated.
You're not getting any
And I
advice.
don't know how to educate you because by law, I'm not licensed to do
Exactly.
that. I'm not licensed to be in your in the loan officer's position to quote and do and tell you the wrong information. 'Cause
Absolutely.
I can lose my license from it. So
Right.
that's the reason why I have everybody in place. So when you do have that lender question, I can say, oh, hold on one second, let's call Katie. Or if you have that title question, oh, hold on, let me call Jerry.
Same
or that
thing.
insurance.
Yes.
Oh, hold on, let me
I'll
call
do it.
Laura.
I'm like,
Exactly.
I
You
don't
know
know about flood insurance.
Right.
Exactly.
We
I
can't.
don't know about. I don't know about
Absolutely.
that. I don't
Yeah.
know if you can add your auto. I don't know if you can.
Yeah.
You have to talk to my professional. Like,
Correct.
You have to talk to
Exactly.
my partner. Talk to Laura because she's
They
going to
ask
be able
me
to
a
tell
question.
you.
Talk to them.
Yeah,
Exactly.
That's
Because
the truth.
and that's the way it should
We stay in our
be.
lanes. We stay in our
Yeah.
lanes.
See, and
we're gonna
here's
help
another
you.
thing. I'm sure that, shout out to my fellow realtors, right? But what I don't like is when other realtors do like to try to play every role.
Yes.
It's not professional, guys. And it's speaking from somebody that's been in this business, it is not our job to play every role. We
Yeah.
have to stay in our lane. It's by law, we have to.
Yeah.
So if you do have somebody trying to play every role, that's already a red flag.
Yeah, and you don't
Megan.
want that.
You don't want
you
that.
don't want
No.
that. You
Yep.
don't want
No.
that. And it's I mean, I have people ask, "Hey, I don't know, call Katie." I
Yeah,
don't know,
that's
I don't know. And
Yeah.
maybe because I do stay in my lane, and
I
by
do
law,
too.
as an attorney, I'm like,
Oh, yes.
that
Yeah.
ain't my wheelhouse. I don't know.
Right.
I don't even know. And I think people respect you more when
They
you say,
do.
"I don't know,"
Yeah,
but
they do.
But let me guide you to the right place.
Correct,
Yeah.
guys. Correct.
'Cause-
And sometimes, in account for that, Katie may get on the phone with my client. They're like, Kalisha, I just talked to Katie for an hour, but I don't understand. And I'm like, it's okay.
It's a lot of
Let me help
information.
you break this down in real terms, girl.
Yeah.
Hold
Right.
on 1 second. Because she is a lender, so she's speaking the lender
Yeah.
Lingo.
terms, the
Lingo,
lingo,
yeah.
and they're like, I think I got it, but I really
Yeah.
don't understand. And I'm
Yeah.
like, well, this is. Oh, I know what she meant by that. What is she trying to say? And if I don't, I'll call her. But most of the time, I'm like, I know exactly what she's trying to
Yeah.
say. This is what she's meaning. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I've had to do that. I'm like, okay.
What?
Talk to me in layperson's terms because I
Yeah.
don't understand what you're talking
I
about.
don't
So you mean XYZ?
Right.
Oh, okay, I get you now.
Right.
I try to keep it simple.
No, you
I
do. You
it's
do.
hard though.
But
I mean,
sometimes
it's
it's
a
so
lot.
much information
It's so
from
much
the
to
lender
take in.
aspect, right, guys?
It
It's a
is.
lot of information from her standpoint. It's easy to go shopping with me where
Yeah.
I'm negotiating the house. I'm doing all the stuff on the house side, but on the
You're
financial
the fun part.
I'm the fun part. I'm
Exactly.
like,
You're the fun. You're
That's
the
why I just
fun.
try to be like, you gotta get
And then you come to the lender, and so many people.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things is that when you're scared to come to the lender,
Yeah.
it's like I am the most intimate part of your life.
Yes,
like
correct.
I
Yeah,
know
she
where
gonna
you
know
went
all
to
your
eat
business.
breakfast on Tuesday. Yes, I know everything. All
If you
your
go to
business.
Hooters 2 or 3 times a week,
I'm
yeah, she
gonna
gonna
know
know.
it. I'm gonna know, but you know what? I don't
all
judge.
your business.
I know
All
I don't
your
judge.
business.
But you know what? That's okay because
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm
Yeah.
not looking at. I'm like your doctor. I'm like the person that you come to.
Right.
I'm not sharing your business because I've been in the same boat that you've been in.
Yeah. Right.
I know what you're eating on Tuesday.
I agree.
That's okay. I still
Right.
don't care. I want you to succeed.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, but it is intimate when
It
somebody's
is.
looking at your credit.
It is.
They're looking
Yeah.
at what maybe you didn't pay that medical bill.
Yeah.
Maybe
But
you didn't pay that student loan.
But the difference with us guys is we're here to help.
And we're
Exactly.
real people.
We're here to act, we're real people. We make
people.
mistakes too. We're not
Exactly.
we're
Yes.
not perfect, but we are actually
Yeah.
here to help.
Yeah.
In that case scenario. So when people are like, "Should I tell Katie?" Yeah, you gotta
Yeah, you
tell
gotta tell
Katie.
Katie.
You have to
You gotta
tell
tell
Katie is like your attorney. So
Yes.
it's like, tell your attorney
Yes.
everything.
Everything.
If you want the most help,
Correct.
I gotta
Tell
know
me it all.
everything.
Yes.
And like with
Yeah,
Katie, you
that's
gotta
true.
open up yourself.
Little
But
bit.
again,
It's okay.
the thing about it is, like, we go back to that pre-approval and
Yes.
the pre-qual. The thing is,
important.
I tell people all the time when people are like, I've had friends who's like, "Oh, can I buy a house? I need to talk to a realtor." No,
Yes.
you talk to a lender first.
Lender.
First.
So
Always
like,
first.
you got the realtor, that's great. But what's she gonna do? Have you been pre-approved?
That's the first thing we want to know.
Yeah.
We have to know because we can't. We can. It's fun to window shop.
Everybody wants to
window
buy.
shop. Everybody wants to buy, but we can't take you. You know, it's our job, and we have to actually have a pre-qual when taking people out. Because if we don't know you can actually qualify, then we've wasted everybody's
Exactly.
time.
Right.
Including yours.
Including yours, and then we give you
Including
false
yours.
hope. You know,
Yeah.
I've had that happen where somebody fell in love with something they couldn't qualify, and that was the worst because I went outside of what the norm,
Yeah.
right? And I did it that one time, and that one time, that lady never actually
Yeah.
bought because she compared everything to that. She wanted that, but honestly, if she probably would have looked at something in her price point at that time,
She knew.
then she would have
Yeah.
fell in love at that time with something instead of above her budget where it was
I
just
have a
something-
question.
Yeah.
question. Do all lenders do pre-qual or pre-approvals? Kind of upfront.
Yes, they should. I mean, they all do an application. So every lender will do an application. Not every lender will follow through with the pre-approval.
Yeah.
So, I mean, a lot of lenders will just say, oh, here's your pre-approval
Yeah.
or here's your pre-qualification. It's okay to go ahead and start shopping. I don't ever want to let my partner down. So
Yeah.
I don't want to let her down.
Yeah.
And I don't want to let my client down because
Yeah.
I want to be your lender for life. I'm not
Yes.
in this for
Yes.
you're going to go buy one home. I
Yeah.
want to do this for your kids, for your kids' kids.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to be your lender for life. So I'm doing you a disservice
Yeah.
if you are not getting in that car ready to be
Yes.
able to make an offer that same day, knowing that you're going to get
Yeah.
to that closing
Yeah.
table.
Exactly.
Because that is my goal.
Yeah.
I want you to know what your payment is
Yeah.
before you get in the car.
Right.
I want you to know what your cash to close is before you get in that car.
Right.
And I want you to have a happy ending. We
Yeah.
don't do this.
We don't
for you to
waste
be
time.
crying at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Time is
we wanna
precious over
celebrate
here.
because
Yes.
when we get to Jerry's office,
Yeah.
we're gonna
Popping
celebrate.
bottles.
Yeah.
Well, probably not so much now because of COVID, but
And maybe a little bit.
And that's a part of having-
virtual bottles, you
Right.
know.
And that's a part of having
we want a
people in
happy
place
day.
in the team.
Yeah.
Because you don't. That's the worst. I couldn't.
It's terrible.
You know.
Yeah.
Who wants to pick out a house, find a house, and think that they're buying a house, and then they
Exactly.
can't.
And then they
Exactly.
can't.
That's,
down.
I could never. Like.
But on
we
the
don't
flip
operate
side,
like that.
we don't. But on the flip side of that, like when you get somebody that has got a 600 credit score,
Right.
and they don't know what they don't know,
Right.
and they come to us and they're like, "This is their situation,"
Mm-hmm.
and then in say 60 days,
Yeah.
they're in a home
Yeah.
with their kids
Exactly.
at your office. They've called you. You
Yeah.
saved
Yeah.
them $200 a month on all of their bundle. When they have done what we've told them to do and guided
Exactly.
them,
Yeah.
and we make that call, there's not a better feeling in this world.
Yeah.
There's not.
Yeah,
Than
I
giving
agree.
somebody that happy ending.
That
Yeah.
is.
That's the best thing that any of us can do for each
Yeah.
other because it's our gift
Yeah.
I would say
to
yep,
everybody else.
absolutely.
And that's why we are blessed to be in each other's lives and
I
blessed
agree.
to be in yours. And that's
Yeah.
why we're here today.
Absolutely.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So what type of I hear like all these loans and so forth. Like, what are some loans that you think like some of our people will be?
Yes.
That helps our
Yeah.
our audience in buying a home.
So, guys, there's 4 different types of loans and grants that are available, and Katie is so good at explaining these because they're so. A lot of people want to know, like,
Yeah.
and
What do I qualify
surprisingly,
for?
people don't know.
I know.
That's the
don't.
biggest thing is when
Yeah.
I talk to people and do consultations before I even send them to Katie. Like, they're
Like, I just don't
surprisingly they
know.
don't even know,
And that's
So,
okay. And
yeah.
that's what we're here to do. So there's so many different types of loans. I say so many, there's really 4.
Yeah, only 4.
There's only 4 loans.
But there's a lot to
But
the
there's
four.
a lot
Yeah, there's a lot
to
to
the
the four,
4.
right.
So just as a general rule of thumb, you probably want, you can go as low as a 580 credit score.
Right.
Okay, so 580 for most loan types. 580 is going to be for FHA loans.
Yep.
And you can even go to 580 with, I think you can go to 580 with VA. Actually, I think it's 620 with VA right
May
now.
have changed, yeah.
It's changed a little bit since COVID. But 580 is what you need for VA or FHA, and that's going to be your general first-time homebuyer program. It's 3.5% down. VA, you do need veteran entitlement, so you've got to be veteran, got to have served in the military or the reserves. Conventional is we have a first-time homebuyer program with conventional 3% down, and then USDA is one of those fun loans. It's like, oh gosh, where Roulette,
Right. Yeah.
Aubrey,
All the
Forney,
All the outskirts.
It's outskirts of town.
Outskirts of the DFW, guys. Outskirts.
But you'll be
USDA.
amazed because some of those outskirts may still be within the city. It's just that you just
Yes.
have to like
That too.
get the right
Yeah,
area.
That's correct.
So all of these different loans require different down payments. There's two, USDA and VA are 0% down. FHA is 3.5% down, and conventional is 3% down for first-time home buyers.
Yeah.
And then you can do a 3% down on a different program, up to 20% down for conventional loans. So 4 main types of loans. And then they also have a lot of first-time home buyer grants that people just don't know that are out there right
See,
now.
and I was going to add to that because I know that's why y'all here.
I want that
Where's the free money?
Y'all want to know. They're like,
Where the money resides, where the money resides.
they're trying to figure it out.
Free money.
They can talk, but can they speak my
Can
language?
they just
I'm
tell
here.
me where it's
I'm
at?
here to find out.
Yes.
Yes.
What's
What
this?
is out
What is this?
there?
What is it for
If
me?
you're still
What can I
here,
get?
it's just getting good.
Yeah.
It's just-
Right.
so here's where
You're
you're going to
still
take your notes,
Yes.
okay?
Right.
So I hope you guys have a pen and paper because this is very important. This is
This
a
is
lot
the
of
bread and
information,
butter.
but
Yes.
this is the big.
This is
the biggie.
what we're here for. So people don't understand that they qualify for first-time homebuyer grants and even grants that don't
Yes.
require you to be a first-time homebuyer.
Yes.
There are grants out there that require a 620 minimum credit score, and they are income restricted.
Yes.
And who wants to tell me what the income is for most of our programs right now? Do you know it?
Was it 80 or 90?
I think it's like
99?
90, like almost 100,000.
It's 99,000.
99.
It's 99.
Yes.
For one of my
Okay.
favorite programs
Yeah.
right now, it's 99,000.
It used to be less than that.
It used to be less
I
than
think
that.
it was like last year.
Yeah.
I feel like it was like 80 last
used to
year or
be-
something like
Yeah,
that.
it used to be like 92.
So there's a couple of different
it's
programs
crazy.
that are out there, but there are so many different programs out there. 620 minimum credit score for
Y'all hear
these
that?
programs.
620.
620.
620.
That means if you
Yeah.
are looking at your credit on Credit Karma and it's a 620, then you need to apply, okay?
Yeah.
Because it means that you are probably exactly where you need to be to qualify for one of these programs, and you do
Right.
not have to be a first-time home buyer
Do you wanna-
to do it.
Do you want to tell
okay?
them about that app real quick so they can check on that?
The application, my application?
No, the app that they can check their credit.
So
yes.
that's one.
Real quick.
Yeah, my thing is the myfico.com, guys. If you don't have myfico, man.
And
you're
we don't
missing out.
endorse it. We're not getting paid.
Yeah,
we're not anything. But they're going to help you with your
I'm
loan.
not getting paid.
I mean, we can
for
myfico.com.
this. Yeah, but my FICO literally has changed the game for me. I guess
Absolutely.
as a realtor because it breaks so much stuff down.
Yeah.
It breaks, what your score is on a credit card. If you want to go buy a house,
Yeah.
if you want to get a mortgage, and also you can play with it to determine like, okay, if I pay $200 off on this $500 credit card, what will my score jump to?
Yeah.
I mean, it
Right.
gives you so much information, and I think it's more accurate than anything
It
out
is.
there,
It
more
absolutely
than
is.
because Credit Karma, so many people have a higher Credit Karma, right? But when they
Yeah.
actually go to a lender, it's like about 30, 40, 50 points off, maybe.
Yeah.
But my FICO has been the closest, I would say, to really what the lenders, the
looking
FICO
at.
4 score
Yeah.
that they're using. And I find it to be very, because even when we just pulled our credit, and when you pulled it, KD, it was dead on
Yeah.
to my score. So that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Like, guys, again, myfico.com, that's about $25, $30 a month, but
It's going to give you a true credit
it's
score.
going to give
Yeah.
you a true credit score. And also, a lot of things that people ask when I do talk to someone, if I'm doing a consultation, and the first thing I'm asked is, when's the last time you checked your credit score? And when people typically tell me, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, then I automatically know, guys, because I've been doing this for so long. When they say, I don't know, I haven't checked my credit score, then I know it's bad. And it's okay. We're not all, I'm not here to
Yeah.
shame. I've had bad credit
Me
before.
too.
This
just need
thing
to find
is
out.
all,
That's all.
this thing is a work in progress.
Yeah.
Credit score does this.
Yeah,
Literally.
sure
I mean,
does.
one little simple thing can tank it.
Yep.
So what I'm saying is, the biggest thing of making sure that before you speak with a realtor, a lender, check your credit score and know your credit score, regardless if it's bad. If it's bad, it's okay. Own it. Embrace it because it could be fixed.
It can be, and that's
Yeah.
why it's good to have a good lender because they can
Yes.
tell you exactly what you need
And
to
that's
do
the
in order
whole
to raise
point.
your score.
Because if you're, one quick example, we had somebody that came to one of our classes early on last year, had a 590 credit score. This gentleman thought he couldn't buy for a year. And I like to tell the story because I'm passionate about it, because this is an example of how you're at an arm's reach. When he thought he couldn't buy because he was at a 590. What got him over to Katie? This gentleman bought in 60 days.
Yes.
Wow.
She was able to pull his credit and tell him
crazy.
2 things to do. Those 2 things, he had boosted his credit score about 40 points. And he was shocked. Because he didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
He just thought, 590, it's going to take me a while. I got to have 700.
She helped him.
She helped him. She told him what to do. He did those 2 things and got 40, 50 points right there.
Nice.
And was able to qualify for an FHA loan.
There you go.
You know?
And I have one that went to our last event that was virtual.
Oh.
That just attended our last event.
There
You
you
know what
go.
I'm talking about.
Virtual, that's
she
y'all.
went to
Y'all
our
are
last
next.
event, and her score went up 40 points.
Nice.
Wow. See, guys, and that's why it's so
a big deal.
important we're giving you that roadmap. Because a lot of people make the mistake of thinking, I'm not ready to get my credit pulled. So this is my favorite thing before we move on. It's the whole credit thing, right? Because I see one of you are asking about, well, will it affect my score if I pull your credit?
Exactly.
Right? One of you are asking that. And that's a great question,
That's
by the
a
way,
very
Tanya.
question.
Great question. What would you say about that?
I would say so many people come to me and they're like, I'm watching my credit, or I'm working on my credit, or I don't want you to pull my credit. And when I hear people say that, because I've been doing this for so long, I say, that's when I know that you need me to.
Yeah.
You need me to. If you tell me you're working on your credit, it
Yes.
means nobody's working on your credit. It means you're watching your score
Right.
and nobody's guiding you and telling you what you need. Because
Right.
we know
Yeah.
you're scared, and that's okay. It's okay to be scared. But if you don't know what
Right.
your score is, if you think you're working on your credit, or you're really protecting your 620 credit score, it means you don't know what you're doing.
Correct.
You do not know
Yeah.
what you're doing, and you don't have somebody that's guiding you
Right.
to get to where you need to be.
Right.
Because if I'm pulling your credit, you're going to lose 3 to 5 points, which is what you lose typically with a hard inquiry. I'm going to tell you not only how to gain that back,
And
but
some.
then some to
Yeah.
get you to where your goals are. So if you come to me and you say, Katie, I want this interest rate, I want to put this much money down, I will tell you what that looks like.
Yeah. Regardless if you like it or
But
not.
exactly. There's that. I will tell you exactly what you need to
Right.
hear, not always what you want to hear, but what you
Yeah.
need to hear.
Exactly.
That's the key,
And
right? That's
a lot
the
of
difference.
times people don't realize they're like protecting this credit score. Oh my gosh, I got a 620, I got a 620. Don't mess my score up. And I look at it and I'm like, first of all, you have a 640 and you got to pay down 2 credit cards and you'll be at a 660. So let me see what you need and I will guide you to where you need to be.
And I understand that some of you may have had your credit pulled by a lender,
Or talked to the wrong
talked to a
person.
lender,
Yeah.
or talked to the wrong person, and they pulled your credit and they didn't give you a game plan. They didn't help
Yeah.
you.
They didn't guide you.
They didn't guide you.
Yeah. So, and you're like, I ain't pulling my credit. I get
Yeah.
it. But we're
Me
here
too.
to, we're not car salesmen. Your credit scores are not going to be ran 5, 10, 20 times. It's not
Exactly.
anything like that. She's going to pull it and give you a game plan on what you need to do. Because in order for Katie and my team to even help you, we have to see what your credit score looks like.
Yeah.
We can't help if we don't know what's on your credit.
Yeah.
We can't
Yeah.
guesstimate. We can all sit here and have a great conversation all day long, right?
Yeah.
Right.
We can say what we think we can do, what
Yeah.
we may can do.
And our goal is to
but-
get you into a home.
yeah, and everybody's situation is different. Your
Exactly.
situation is not like your cousin,
Yes. Or
not
your
like your
mom.
mom's, your friends, any.
Well, my mama bought a house and they only had a 500 credit score.
right?
Babe, let me tell you, they were just telling y'all
Yes.
things. That was not true.
Yes. No, that's the truth. I mean, how many times do we honestly hear that?
Yeah.
All the
a lot.
time.
I mean, I hear it all the time.
All the time.
So
So,
well,
do the insurance.
My cousin
Yes.
bought, and my
Oh,
cousin
good.
said that she was able to get this, and that. Okay, well, I'm sure your cousin bought when that stuff was in place
Yeah.
too. But
Right.
as you guys can see, if you've been listening very carefully, we just said that even on the grant and bond program, it used to be 92,000. Well, now it's 99.
Exactly.
So now it's even better, right? So if your cousin did buy when it was 92, now it's $99,000,
Things
which is
are
even
always changing,
every
too.
single
They're
year.
always
Every single-
changing, and especially like so many things happened last year with coronavirus, and so many of
Right.
the programs were taken and then brought
Oh,
back.
yeah.
So you really have to know what area you're in, how much do you qualify for. There are so many different programs. Different programs have
Right.
different income limits.
Yeah.
Different programs offer different amounts, and there are so many different things that you don't know.
Yes.
Get your credit pulled by a lender that knows what they're talking about, that
Correct.
knows what the requirements are, that can guide you to get you exactly where you need to be.
And I'm going to piggyback on that. Not just any lender, right?
Yeah.
Because
Not just any
I'm
lender.
saying this lender, this team, for a reason. Because
Yeah.
if you have been following me for a while, even any of us for a
Yeah.
while, we have been successful at putting hundreds of families into a home. It's proven. We have the track record for it. We we back up what we talk. We know what does that say? Or
And we're gonna hold you.
we're
to the
gonna
fire.
help you.
We're gonna tell you.
Talk the talk, walk the walk.
We talk the talk, walk the
There you
walk.
go.
And there you go. And it's serious, and we're very passionate about it. So we don't want you to get your credit pulled several times. We don't want you to go through that. We don't want you to be upset. So we are the one-stop shop, because we have so many clients say, you're the one-stop shop. Yeah. We are, baby. We are the one-stop shop.
I heard that. I just want to work with her team.
Yeah, her team.
Okay,
I work with her team.
I want to work with her team, right? Yeah, you're going to run her team.
I love it. I do love that.
Love
That's
it.
my favorite, because they tell me that too. So the biggest thing is what type, also to include, I like to ask my clients once they are pre-qualified, they get their pre-approval.
Even before though.
Yeah.
We ask them before. Like,
Yeah.
what type of client do you think you are?
Katie likes to add, she likes to beat me to the punch.
I'm sorry.
My favorite question is, what type of buyer are you? Right? Because I don't want to assume anything.
Yes.
I don't want to assume at all that I know just because you get pre-qualified right
Yes.
then that you're ready. And also, I don't want you to assume, I'm not one of those realtors that's going to call you every single day, because we all have lives. I'm married. We're all married. We have kids. We have a busy life outside of this. So my level of, I want to know your expectations, and I want you guys to know, the expectations for me as well. So when I'm asking what type of buyer are you, it's really the level of motivation.
Yeah.
Like, what's your level of motivation? And is it, for me, an A buyer, what I would call an A buyer, is a buyer that's ready right now.
Yeah.
And that's my green light.
Yes.
I have A buyer, that means green.
Yeah.
That means Katie's like, Kalisha, they are ready to go. They are your A buyer because they need to be in a home within the next 30 to 45 days. Maybe even 60 days, right?
Yeah.
They're green. They're ready to go. Their lease is about to end. Or
they sold.
Or they sold. Or whatever the case is. But you're ready right now. So that means you need Kalisha right now, right? Because I never say I'm too busy. I can balance a lot of clients, guys, at the time. And the reason how I'm able to do that is knowing the expectations and where they're at in of this process. My B buyers, they may get pre-qualified, but they may be a longer period out. And I wouldn't even say 60 days out. I would really put my B buyers at about 6 months now. Wouldn't you say? About 6 months out, and they actually started the process, right? Which, because on this virtual, we're encouraging you to do an application for this same reason, so we can see where you are. So my B buyers are more like 6 months out. Could be about a year, but I don't even take it to a year. They could be 6 months or less.
When you say B buyers are more, they're credit ready,
Yeah.
but they're not ready to shop.
Yeah, they're not
They're
ready
not ready
to shop.
They're not ready
Not
to get
quite
in the
there
car.
yet.
Yeah.
And it may be for a lease, which we have a lease bailout program, which we'll talk about a little bit later.
Yeah.
But B buyers are more, they may not have the assets. They may not have the money. They may not have the motivation. They're just not ready
Scared.
right now. And sometimes it can be
Right.
scary. But 9 times out of 10, our B buyers really do turn into A buyers.
I was just about to say that, girl. I was about to say, some people always say, I'm a B buyer,
I'm a B
Kalisha.
buyer,
I'm
I'm
a
a
B
B.
buyer. But then they're texting me every other day. They just start sending us a house very quickly.
They found that house.
turn into an A buyer. Because who
Really
wouldn't
quick.
turn from a B buyer to an A buyer once you get pre-qualified? You've been renting all your life so far,
Exactly.
and you finally got, that's a big accomplishment
Yeah,
to get
it
a
is.
See what you
pre-approval.
can afford. You're like, oh my gosh, I can buy that
Right
for
now?
less than I'm
Now.
paying for my rent.
Right now?
Right now?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
they're ready to
that
go. They're not, they're like, hey. So I make fun of people when they
Those
say,
are my favorite buyers.
are you really a B buyer? Because most of my B buyers, they do turn A.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest.
And they're the
Basically, you'd be
fastest
shocked
one.
They're
if
the
you don't
fastest
find
one.
out.
And what's crazy is, like, we had one this last event, and I
Yeah.
called them and I told them they were absolutely
that's a
in
good
the
one.
most perfect spot to
Yeah.
buy. I'm like, okay, wait, you have the credit,
Yes.
you have the assets, and you're gonna get a grant, and you don't have a lease. And they were like, but are you sure?
Yeah.
And I'm
So you're
like,
gonna be
send me your
treated that-
documents, pre-approve them within 24 hours,
Wow.
and they were still like, are you sure?
Are you sure?
Are you sure? And I'm like,
Are you
no, this
sure?
is
It's
like
like,
approval.
it's like an out-of-body experience.
It was. And I
me?
told Kalisha, I said, okay, they're
Yeah.
a little shocked. They don't realize
said
they
that
are
too.
ready.
They thought it was going to be harder.
But it's so crazy because so many people
They don't know what you
are
don't know what you
shocked.
don't know.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
actually are shocked because they don't think that they're actually ready right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then when they come to our events,
Yeah.
they're like, huh?
Are you
They're-
sure?
Are you sure this
And this is the
happening?
stuff that we don't
didn't
hear on the end.
yes.
They know more than
I
us.
didn't
We're at the very
expect
end of the
that. I
tail.
didn't
Yeah.
expect that. So yeah, it
awesome.
happens all the time, and I love it.
Yeah.
And you guys get to hear about these stories because you're like, what? And
I know.
it's
I
crazy. And then of course our C buyers, they may be moving from out of state. Or they're really just not ready right now. They may have some things on their credit that we need to help them.
Yep.
And they need to knock out before we can get to that point where you can issue them a pre-approval,
Yeah.
a pre-qualification letter, and then turn them to a pre-approval. But
we're going to help them.
Yeah.
That's a good point. Like, we're going to help you. Our C buyers, if you're not
Yeah.
credit ready, we're going to get you credit ready.
Yes. Yeah.
We're going to give you a plan. We're not just going to say, oh, you're not going to have to be a B buyer or an A buyer.
Yeah.
We're going to give you
That's
a
the
plan.
difference.
We're going to
Right.
give you a map.
right.
To that, and
Correct.
that's a free thing.
Yep.
And speaking
And
of
that's
free,
really true because speaking of free, but I can
Speaking of
speak
free.
attest to that because I was like, so I mean it wasn't the best, but it was only a couple of times. She was like, well, I was like, so can I pay off XYZ and I get my credit score where I need to be? Yep, all right. Yeah. That's all. Yeah.
That's all I need to know.
Yeah. But so what is free?
Yeah.
I mean, our consultation's free, but a real estate agent's free. So many people don't know that your services are free, which blows my mind.
I'm sorry, you're free.
So guess so guys, y'all know what I like to ask these people. Guess who's going to be your new BFF? Me. I am going to be your new BFF during this process, and I put myself in that category because we're going to work very close together. You know,
Yeah.
I'm going to be a part of one of the biggest investments I think that you'll ever make in your life, besides getting married, right?
Right.
So
That's
buying
an
a house is a big investment.
Yes.
So I honor that and I appreciate that, and I take it very seriously.
Oh, very
honestly.
seriously.
Yeah.
She will call you and she'll be like, "Are you ready to go?"
Yeah. Are you good? Because I hear it all. Like, I've heard it all. I mean, buying a house is, I wouldn't even just say it's a cakewalk, you know? It's it can be very fun. It can be sometimes stressful, and we will have some hurdles, but it's how you remain during the process.
Yeah.
Do you have
Right.
faith in the process? Are you going to be negative during the process? Because the power of the tongue is powerful.
Absolutely.
So what you speak is what you will receive.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Exactly.
So I'm very big on my clients speaking the type of house that they want over their life. Me
Right.
speaking the kind of house that they want. If it's not on the market, it's going to get there. It's going to
gonna
be
come.
there. Their house is popping up. So I believe in the
Me
power
too.
of the tongue. And it's very important that I work with clients, too, that have faith in this process, have faith in me and my team, as well. So, of course, you have requirements when working with me, but I also have requirements when working with my clients.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I require
I agree.
3 things, guys. Just 3 things. What would you say
That's
one of
all.
them, Laura?
That's all.
What would you say one of my first one is?
Communication.
Woo!
Let's talk.
Let's talk.
Yeah.
Communication is very important to me because I would say I'm a big communicator.
Yes,
you are.
I'm a super texter. Y'all like to call me, right? My friends like, you're a super texter. I'm always texting back real fast. Because I'm with clients. We're all busy,
Yeah.
you know. So if I may not be able to answer the call right away, but I'm a super texter. I let everybody know, hey, I'm with the client right now, but how can I assist you?
Yeah.
How can I help
Right.
you? I'm very big on communication. What's the second one?
Oh, baby, you got to be committed to me.
Ooh. Yes.
We don't do open what?
Some of y'all
Open relationships.
Hey, y'all, no. Now, no offense, guys. Some of y'all may do them open relationships now, but
We're not about that,
We're not about that life. We're not.
But not with her.
so commitment is very important to me because if I have to, my daughter plays select soccer, so if I'm missing soccer games, I'm missing just different things that
You
I
just
have
had a
to.
baby.
And I just had a baby. Yeah. So if I'm missing all of these things to be away from my family, commitment is important because
Yeah.
I'm 100%,
Committed
150%
to
committed to
you.
my clients,
Yep.
and I need the commitment back because I do everything from free. I don't get paid, guys. Not when you find the house. I don't get paid when we find the house. I don't get paid until you close and you receive keys. Okay.
Until we say
I
it's
can't-
funded.
It's funded.
Which will be your 3 favorite
Not
words.
until even we get the email, right? It has to
Right.
say closed and funded.
funded.
So it's everything I do up front is free. Driving around the DFW, my time, appointment, and I love it. I love this. I do this in my sleep. I mean, I'm passionate about this. It doesn't feel like work,
Yeah.
Right.
And what would you say the last one is, Katie?
Oh, don't call on me right now. I was so excited I knew the first 2.
Cooperation. So that goes another word for being committed, cooperating with me because I do have a lot of clients, but I have a team, guys. I have a group.
Yeah.
I have people in place that, of course, I specifically can't be in one place at all,
Yeah.
all the time. I have several clients that need to get in the house, so I have a team in place that'll assist me to help you. It doesn't stop. Real estate doesn't stop because I'm busy, and we're not going to miss an opportunity to miss your dream house.
Yeah.
Because as y'all know, y'all probably on Zillow and Realtor.com right now looking at these houses, and y'all know these homes are flying off the market within an
Yes.
hour, 2 hours, even a day.
So
They're not
true.
lasting. How many
Yes,
of y'all
they
know
are.
that?
So
a lot of them.
Yeah.
Everybody knows it.
Yeah.
So
Don't
it's
get
very
caught up on
important.
Zillow.
Oh,
That's a whole nother story for a whole
I know.
nother.
That's a whole nother talk show.
Right? So it's very important, guys, you know, those 3 things that I require too. But time to shop. So once we establish what type of buyer you are, then I go over with you what is out there on the market right now.
My
So
favorite,
much.
new builds.
New builds, so new construction.
Favorite.
Pre-owned homes and townhomes, condos. The average buyer looks at about, I would say, 3 to 7 homes before deciding on which home is the perfect one. I have.
We like that number 3, don't we?
You like
I know there's 4 of us here.
Right? But seriously, I've had buyers that have gone out the very first time and said, "Is this really possible to only look at one house?"
Yes,
and
I've done it
Put a
3 times.
contract on this first house, and I'm like,
I've done it twice.
really?
Yeah.
Only one time?
Me
I've done
too.
it myself too.
I've done it. I mean,
One
I
house.
did it with
with
my,
my-
know, you
yeah.
know.
Yes.
Yeah, I did it with my current home
Yep.
and did it with the home that we're
Yes.
buying
Oh,
now.
wow.
And
You
it's
know,
like,
you know.
This is it. You know.
That's important because people don't
Yeah.
realize that.
No,
like,
I
and
just know.
I think going out and have the expectation in your head to know, like, I'm gonna find my house today. You should go out with that expectation because
Yeah.
in today's market,
Yes.
if you're not going out with that expectation,
can't
and
wait.
you think, oh, let me just sleep on that. You won't be sleeping
not gonna
in
sleep
it.
in it.
Not in
Because
this market.
really, it's the truth. And I'm a Christian, all right? I'm a Christian woman. So when you pray, you should be praying before we go out. Pray that
Yes.
we're gonna find your dream house
Exactly.
today.
Exactly.
Because if we don't, and you have to pray and think about it, that house is not gonna wait on prayers. It's
Yeah.
just not. I mean, we're not in
Yeah.
that market. You know, I'm a big prayer. So to me, I'm like, just have that expectations of being ready to go out and claim it. Like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
find my house today.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm gonna find it. Today's the day.
Well,
And
I
then-
called you, and within 2 hours, we were under contract.
Woo, this girl.
And then somebody had
I
just
think-
put in an offer before me.
Y'all, I
I
think-
hadn't seen it. Had not seen this house.
Katie was my
Crazy.
client, and no one has topped you yet, girl. No one has topped you, girl. I'll tell you right now. She's like, Kalisha, I found my house. And this is what I'm gonna do. I need you to write this contract. Be ready. Can you set this up? Okay, yeah,
Yeah, 2
okay.
hours.
And I'm like, are you sure? She's like, yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
absolutely
And we were
certain
literally under contract at the fastest I've ever
that
been under
I've
contract.
actually, now that you said that,
Yeah.
it really was the
Yeah,
fastest.
it was
that
the
we've ever gone.
fastest ever. So
That's
yes,
crazy.
When
it's
you know, you
possible.
know.
You know, and I tell people that you'll
When you know, you know.
You'll
Yeah,
know.
you know.
You walk in, you just know.
Yeah.
So all right, upfront costs. This is very big.
This is a good one too.
Yeah.
Get
This
out
is
those
a
pens.
Yeah, everybody should have pen and paper out right now
Yep.
because this is what people really don't know
Yeah.
about.
It's
Once
the most important.
I would agree. And when people talk about how much money do I need to have, a lot of people don't know this, but there is some upfront costs. Once the contract is accepted by the seller, that means we are then under contract. Okay, so what that looks like is the first check or fee, I would say, is called an option period. All right, and this is a very important period. And Jerry, I know you can kind of elaborate on this as
Right.
a attorney and title.
Exactly.
Why this is very important.
It's really important. This it's what they call the option period, and so typically, depending on the home and so forth, you're going to put anywhere between 100 to 500 down, and it's going to be anywhere between a 7 to 10 day period. And this is the time for you to be able to get the property inspected to make sure that the home is what it says it is,
Right.
and to see what any problems are with the home, if any. And it also, the big key thing is that it allows you the ability to get out of the property
Right.
without losing any more money. So yeah, you will lose that initial anywhere between $100 to $500 that you put down for the option period, but you will get your earnest money back.
Correct.
And so that's really key because like Kalisha said, like with her team, and I know she doesn't have, her preferred inspector here, but that's a really crucial time period
Right.
because
Correct.
It's
you
very
can
important.
find out and she, even though it's not required for you to have an inspector,
It's not correct.
it is detrimental if you do not.
Absolutely.
And just because something,
Why would
and
you not, though?
A lot of
Yeah.
this, as
Well,
you know,
people
just
won't
because it looks
sometimes.
good on the outside doesn't mean it's good on the inside.
Yeah.
And the inspection is very important. And like you also said, it allows you to be able to have a change of heart.
Yeah.
And the way this market is moving, really right now, the option period can be anywhere from 3 to 7 days. I mean, they've really
Yeah.
shortened it up.
Oh, that's
I don't
true.
even see 10 days no more. No sellers are really willing to go that far on a 10 10
that's
day.
really
You know,
true.
they're really trying to shorten it up, you know, because how the market is moving right now.
Exactly.
It's
Fast.
moving so fast. So, you know, it allows you that time to get
That's
that
so
property, you know, inspected to make sure that everything is okay.
Yeah, and you know, you'll find the difference depending on what that option price is or
Yeah.
what the option fee is. That could be a negotiating tactic for
Yes,
you to
I was
actually
gonna
win
say that.
your home.
Yeah, so when you say, Jerry, anywhere from $100 to $500, and it could be even more than $500. That's
It
a
could
negotiable
be,
amount
yeah.
that you feel comfortable gambling.
Losing.
Honestly,
Exactly.
I would say it's a gamble because
It is a gamble.
Because if anything, if you don't want the house, then yeah, you lose that because the seller took it off the market for you. So
Yeah.
just because you had a change of heart, they could have lost out on different potential
Right.
buyers that would have accepted that particular thing that's going on with their house that you don't want to accept or
Yeah.
Right.
whatever the case is. But it's very important that you understand that you're taking the risk, but it's how bad do you want that house?
Right.
Because if
Exactly.
you know this market,
Oh my gosh.
you
Oh,
will
it's
know how
insane.
much you're willing to put down anyway.
Right.
Because I've had people say, I don't care, Kalisha, win me this house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think?
What are we
they
doing?
ask me that all the time. What do you think?
Yeah.
Well, and then my first question, how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
Exactly.
How about you want it?
because when a seller, because you have to look at it from the perspective of the seller. The seller's
Yeah.
like looking like, okay, well, even if they don't want this house, I still got $500 to $1,000 in my pocket.
Yeah.
So
Correct.
I'm
For
good.
3 days.
You know?
Yeah,
exactly.
Correct.
So you know, it's really key.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, understand that in an inspection, it's not just looking at, oh, I don't like the color carpet. Because didn't you buy a house that had green carpet?
Oh, yeah, we're going to go into that too, girl.
So
Yeah.
it's not about necessarily you don't like the carpet in the
Correct.
house. It's
Yes.
really the structural things in the home
Of course.
that can end up costing you a lot of money, you know,
Air
after you
conditioner.
close. Oh,
Yes.
Water heater.
All that kind of
Yes.
stuff.
Things
Everything.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk more about inspection on the next slide because it's very important that people understand that, that, you know, what to ask for now in the seller's market too, you know, because
yeah.
people think that, you know, kind of the example that you said, we'll kind of go more in detail. The next one is the earnest money. Earnest money is very important. The earnest money is very important because it goes to the title.
Yeah.
Earnest money is paid directly to the title company.
It is, and it's typically 1% of the purchase price.
Correct.
Like, you know, sometimes you'll find it may be a little cheaper than that, but generally speaking, the rule of thumb is it's 1% of the purchase price.
Correct.
And so if you're buying a $300,000 home, then the earnest money that you're going to spend is going to be $3,000, and that's going to be made directly to the title company, and that is reimbursed or credited to you at closing, so you do not lose this money.
I'm
And
glad you
also,
said that
too-
because so many people ask me that, and they ask you that.
Yeah.
I tell them that, but then
Yes.
they ask you, and sometimes they ask you,
Yeah.
and they're like, oh my gosh, am I gonna get my money back? Am I gonna
yes,
get my money back?
You're gonna get your
Yeah.
money back, and,
That's
and,
where
and
does
it's
the money
gonna
go?
be, and also
'Cause
too, I
that's
don't
the
think-
big money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And I don't think I mentioned this. Even the option fee, if you decide to move forward with the home, the option fee is also credited to you.
Yes.
So any money that you put down to your home or your future home, as long as you go forward with that home, that
Yes.
all that money is going to be credited back to you. So it's not like it's going to be lost.
Right.
So
Yeah.
you put $500 down for your option fee, it's going to be credited to you
Right.
at on your closing disclosure or
Correct.
the closing statement,
Right.
as well as the earnest money. That earnest money is going to be credited to you on the closing statement. So
Exactly.
any money that you put towards that home, you're going to see that on the closing statement, and it's going to be accounted for towards you when Katie
When you're cash to
is,
close,
you know,
yeah.
looking at you for your cash to close.
The only thing that's not those are inspection.
Yep,
Your
and that's what I was going to go into.
Yeah.
Go ahead and explain that, Katie.
So the only money that you're not going to get back is the inspection fee.
Yes.
So you will lose your inspection if you decide not to go forward with
Right.
it. And that's because the lender requires an appraisal, which is also required up front, which we're going to go into next.
Right.
But they do not require the inspection. So inspection is up to you. If you want an inspection, which I've never, ever in
Yeah.
the 1,000
Don't
homes
even buy a
I
house
wouldn't
that
never.
I've done,
even if it's a
have
new
never
build.
had
Yep.
somebody
Yes.
like say I'm not going to do an inspection. You absolutely have to have it.
Yes.
So, but you're not going to get that towards your
Yes.
cash to close.
And of course, you said a good point. Even on a new build, to get a third-party inspection.
Yes.
Of course, it already comes with an inspection, but you're going to want to get
Yeah.
a third-party inspector to come inspect that house outside of the builder. It's so
Yes.
important because everybody's all working together, but you want to make sure that somebody comes in that's not working for the builder,
Yeah.
that knows
Yeah.
nothing about the home, to ensure
Yeah.
that the home is properly built correctly.
Exactly.
That's very important. And also, the difference between a new build and a pre-owned in this particular slide is that you would only have to pay earnest money. The option money it goes away.
Yeah,
so
with
you
the new
don't have
build.
to have option and earnest. You only put down your earnest money with the new build, and the inspection fee is not up front as well. It's actually closer to the time that you close on the property that you would pay the inspection. So if you were going pre-owned, these are all up front right now. But if it's a new build, it kind of works a little bit differently. You'll just have the earnest money, and then the inspection fee will be later. But the biggest thing also is, like Katie touched on, is the appraisal. People all the time, well, what do you think that this property is this property really worth it? And I'm like, we can all have different opinions on. I'll have an opinion on what I think the property. We all can have different opinions on what we think the property is worth. How we determine, or I would say guesstimate what the property is worth, is we're gonna me as a realtor, I'm gonna run the comps, the homes around the area, and see what they're selling for, and that's also what the appraisal person is going to do. So we, as the realtor, the seller, and the lender, we don't know who this appraisal person is. It's pulled by a draw, and Katie can kind of go more in detail with that. But it's a random person that pulls a ticket, if I'm right or wrong. Pulls a ticket, goes out, and they don't know any parties to the transaction, and they're going to inspect this property, and they're going to run the comps, and then do their own inspection on what they think is the value of the property. And they're the final say-so, because they turn that report into the lender, and the lender is only, which is lender bank, they're only going to give you the money based on what it's worth. So you'll never have to worry about overpaying for a house, because there's no way you can. With that,
They won't allow it.
they won't allow it. So that's the biggest thing, is it really worth that? That's what a lot of people ask. Well, again, we can have different opinions about that until that appraisal turns that report into the lender, and we'll see what the actual value comes back at.
And it feels real good when that value comes over than what you paid for it. So you're like, woo!
Yep, and when you're going in already with equity, that's the best feeling. That's the best feeling. But that fee is typically between $500 and $525, or could be give or take a little bit more. But that can also be put on a credit card.
Yeah,
as well.
absolutely.
Is that the only thing? Now, can I put my earnest money on a credit card?
No.
Can I put my ice cream on a credit card?
Can I buy furniture on credit card?
Absolutely. Don't you dare.
Don't you dare! You'll have Katie sweating.
No.
She'll tell you all the do's and don'ts
And
when
I
you
will
get to
tell
that
you.
stage.
Yeah, I'll let you know what you can and cannot do.
Yeah, she'll go over
I'll send
that.
you emails, and then everybody that works with me.
Yeah.
And
Don't buy that car right now. You better wait till that
Don't
loan
buy
closes.
anything.
Yeah, don't you do
Don't do it. I don't care what you do after you sign the papers, but for right now, don't do nothing. I was given specific instructions. Don't get no credit cards.
Right.
no,
Don't open
and
up- no.
don't you buy a pool.
Don't do nothing.
Right now.
Don't do nothing.
Jerry's like, I need a new car. I'm like, please don't make me.
don't
Make a house today.
No.
Not today. Not today,
Don't
Jerry.
do nothing right now.
Right.
I tell people, do not buy curtains for a house you do not own.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
So you hear the words,
Look,
clear to
that's
close.
the truth. That's
Don't you
the
dare.
Not yet, not yet,
Give
not
me a
yet.
heart attack.
All
But I
right.
pay cash, don't you dare.
Right. And then one of the newest slides that I added on my presentation was understanding a mortgage payment.
Yes.
You realize what I've
So many people don't know.
Even me. This is my third house I bought, and I really didn't understand what all was included
What
in a
goes
mortgage
into it,
payment.
yeah.
Until I started, I'm like, people really need to know what makes up a mortgage payment.
Right.
And I
Katie?
think that all of these websites, these Zillows and Realtor.coms, nothing to take away from those websites, because I still use them. I know
Right.
that we all
Yes.
have
Yeah.
stumbled upon a Zillow.com or Realtor.com
Right.
at one point in our life, but they don't give you the full payment always.
Right.
They just don't. And so a lot of people, and it's hard for me as a lender that people will call me and I will go over their payment, and I'll tell them, they're like, what do you mean my payment's going to be $3,000 on a $585,000 house? What?
Yeah.
And so
I
it
don't
blows my
understand.
mind how people don't understand, and it's because these websites only give you the principal and interest payment.
Right.
They
Yeah.
don't give you the payment that includes principal and interest and your taxes,
taxes, yeah.
And insurance.
and your insurance and your HOA.
They're not including
They're not
everything.
including all of that stuff. So people really do believe that they're paying $1,300 for a $300,000 house,
Yeah.
and that's not
The
true.
Taxes are huge,
And they're
because
going up.
Unlike like the principal and interest rate, the property
Yeah.
taxes, principal and interest will remain the same throughout the whole term
Correct.
of the loan, but those taxes
The taxes.
That changes.
and
That could
insurance
change.
is what changes your payment.
Correct.
Exactly.
And it's really it's really key. I know that
Yeah.
personally speaking. Oh my gosh, whenever you initially buy a house, you know, you just, you know, going through, you know, your insurance agent, and you're not necessarily looking at those, you know,
those numbers
every year, and then you realize, oh my gosh, you get the statement saying that you have to pay more to your mortgage, and you're like, whoa,
what happened?
Yeah, wait a minute,
what is this?
But that's why it's important to understand that taxes and insurance are a part of that.
Correct.
Because I think, you know, like you said,
big
people are
deal.
like, you know, they go looking at maybe a $585,000 house, and they're like, well, they only said I had to pay, you know, $2,000 for this. Where are you going to set $1,000 from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it makes a big difference. And,
Yeah.
and I think a lot of people need to understand where all of the payment breaks out, what you're actually paying in that payment.
That's the biggest
thing. The different loan types, the USDA, the FHA, the conventional, the VA, all of them are going to have different payments that make up that mortgage payment.
Yeah.
So one of the things that Kalisha and I have been doing now for years is we will tell you what your payment's going to be before you ever get in the car. So you're going to send me, after our consultation, you're going to send me your addresses that you're looking at.
Yep.
And you're going to say, hey, Katie, Kalisha, these are the ones I want to see.
Yep.
Here's the 10 properties I've looked at on your website.
Yep.
And I want to go to these homes.
Correct.
And I'm going to say, here's your payments. If that payment's outside your budget,
Yeah.
you're not going.
Because it can be the same price house, but one taxes in an area is higher than the other,
gosh,
which makes you over budget. And you're like, this is $150 more than what I want to pay.
And that's a big
Yeah.
thing.
And it can be the same price of the house. So that's why it's very important that we do that stuff up front before we get in the car and wasting time. You know what I mean? We're not going to waste time.
That's such a good point. And you know, there are things within a payment that you can control,
Yeah.
and there are things
Yeah.
that you can't control.
Correct.
And so one of the things that makes me so proud to be with Laura is that you are so good with explaining the different types of insurance.
Yes. I would-
And what type of insurance. And you know what? You get what you pay for.
Exactly.
These days with insurance, and that's a big part of your payment too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you were talking about your insurance and what your insurance is, how that's going to make up your mortgage payment, this is your girl.
Yeah.
And the greatest thing about her, she's a broker.
Yeah.
So she can get you 50 different quotes. She's going to tell you, well, she's not going to like show you those quotes, but she's going to
got
look
like
at
43
all of
now.
these
It's a lot.
43 different companies and
Companies,
tell
yeah.
you what company is going to give you the best insurance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And she's going to do all that research for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's, you know, I got a trophy this year. From Laura Garza Agency, because she's my #1 girl, and there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Like there's a reason. She
Yeah.
not only gives you the best price, but that payment's so important.
It is.
So
That's what makes up your mortgage
I
payment, you
was
guys.
too.
That
I
made
was
me real happy.
Even if your
proud.
auto is with one company, I'm not even going to say any
Yes.
names, but
Yeah.
a lot of people think, oh, my car insurance is there, let me go shop with them.
Yeah.
You guys, why would you not
They
shop around?
won't.
I have 43
Yeah.
companies. Let's check all of those at one time, save you time,
Yeah.
money. That makes up your
Yes.
mortgage payment, right?
I love that.
We want to make sure we get that as low as possible with the best coverage, best everything on it, so that way your mortgage payment is not crazy and ridiculous amount, and we can get you in that house. It's a really big deal.
You
And
save me
so
$200
one of the
a month.
guys, 200,
Yeah. And we
then
save you
the-
money on your car insurance. Why not?
And then
Absolutely.
one of the guys on my street has been paying so much money. Bless his heart. He's probably going to see this. Hi, Jason. Hi. Call him out too. But he was like, "Oh my gosh, I cannot believe he was paying over $1,200 more a year
yeah.
in insurance.
That's
And
a
he
lot.
just didn't know. And for years,
didn't know.
Yeah.
He just didn't know.
Yeah.
And a
Yeah.
lot of people don't know that
They
when
don't
you
know.
do your home insurance, that you can bundle that with like your auto.
that's
You
the
can
best
do
thing
so
to
many
do.
other things.
Yeah.
And I hear a lot of times people say, Katie, but I'm already saving $200 on my auto.
No.
You have no idea.
There's
what
more
you're-
savings out there, you guys.
Yeah, there's more. There's more.
I saved
more.
somebody
So it makes a big
$3,500
difference.
last week. Their home and auto was with another company, and I was like, "Oh, that company's been kind of murdering you. I'm
Yeah.
sorry."
Yes,
Yeah.
and they
You
do
know,
it
and he
the
was
best
like,
deal,
"I was
and
like,
you're
that's a vacation. $3,500 I saved you on your home and auto.
That's a
No.
lot.
Why?
Go on.
Oh my goodness.
And I have brand names, non-brand names are all A-rated companies.
Yeah.
So
That's great.
That's amazing.
with us.
All right. Well,
That's
we'll-
why you've got the dream team.
I know, girl. I love it, girl. I don't call y'all the dream team for
love
nothing.
it, love
I mean,
it.
y'all some bad chicks, man. All right, moving on. Inspection. Okay, so a house inspection is a visual, non-invasive check of the structural foundation, roof, electrical, plumbing, heating, cooling, and
Rodents.
any appliances.
All of it.
And all of that good stuff.
All that stuff.
So I
Everything.
educate our clients big time before we actually head out
Yeah.
on an inspection because, like you said, girl, I did buy a house with green carpet,
She did.
but
Hunter
the
green.
house was beautiful. It had
It really
everything
was.
I wanted, right? Everything.
Everything.
But it just had green carpet.
That's fine.
So that's cosmetic.
And that's why
Exactly.
you get a good realtor who can negotiate certain things for you.
Correct. And that too, that part. But going in today's market, cosmetic stuff, you really have to turn your face to that right now.
Yeah.
Because we're not in that market unless you want to be custom or build your own house, which is fine.
Yep.
But you might find a beautiful home that has green carpet. And, you know, and my thing is I'm glad I bought that beautiful home with green carpet because I loved it. It had everything and more that I needed.
And it made you a lot of money.
And it made me a lot of money. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is just because something has green carpet or has a pink wall or you have all of the cosmetic things is I educate the clients on, you know, not looking at those things and knowing that, oh, if you don't like that cabinet color, that can be changed in due time. All of that stuff can be changed. My job is to protect you and to make sure that you're buying a house that doesn't have those major issues going on with it.
Right.
That's going to cost you thousands of dollars when you get into it. Because who wants to close on a home and you have to turn around and pay all these money because of something going on that we didn't check. So it's very important that you understand, as you know, you hire me as your realtor, that you got to know what I'm going to tackle, what I'm going to focus on, because that is those major items only. Not saying that we can't get a seller's concession in lieu of some of those things to help you with maybe some cosmetic things that we want to change, right? Because if we're asking the seller, there's some small little things going on, and we just ask for a $2,500 credit. I meant not 25, but $2,500 credit. Then within that credit, those purple walls can be covered. You know, that little, you know, you can change the handles on those cabinets. You know, that little stuff. So we're
looking for the big stuff.
We're looking for the big stuff. So that's the main important important thing before going out in this market,
and
unless you're going to build.
Because you can flip a home and make it beautiful on the outside.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is what happened with my home. Yeah. It was beautiful. They did a beautiful job flipping my home. Yeah. But the AC that was $20,000 to replace was shot.
Yeah, it was shot all the way.
So had I not gotten an inspection, I would have had to pay $20,000
immediately because it was on its last leg.
It was on its last leg. And so it was on its
last leg.
It was literally smoking outside.
We were like,
was it really?
It was really bad.
And
they tried to offer me like a warranty for like,
no. I was like, they need to.
And so Kalisha goes, no, we're going to replace that.
We have to replace it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
To.
So
you guys, Kalisha got $20,000 negotiated additional.
Yes. For
come on.
Exactly.
Like they just paid for it. It's fantastic.
I love that.
Yeah. That's what I love.
Yeah.
That's what I love.
All right, guys. And also under contract process. So this is the slide where these two. Once I get you under contract and we've done that inspection, then the next step of this is, I always say it looks like I disappear, but I don't. Because then you're going to be working hand in hand.
Then you're going to be my best friend.
You're going to be her best friend and her best friend. So you're going to be working with them.
Right.
So they're going to kind of tell you what kind of happens behind the scenes after we've gone under contract.
Yeah. So as soon as we go under contract, typically your realtor is going to send the title company the copy of the contract, and you're going to be delivering their earnest money to us and possibly the option fee. Yeah. You'll be just pretty much go based on what Kalisha tells you to do. But so we'll get the contract in, and we'll receive the contract in, and we'll let everyone know that we have the funds, we have the earnest money, and so now we're under contract. The key thing with the title company, just to give you some education about the title process, is what we're doing is we're looking at the history of the home. And so unlike home insurance that you're going to get from Laura, who's going to insure the property from things that are going to happen in the future, what title insurance does, it protects you for things that happened in the past. Right. And so we're making sure, one thing that we are ensuring is that we are clearing the property so that way you own the property free and clear. So you don't have to worry about a previous owner or someone who may be entitled to the property coming back saying that, oh, I own this property, you need to get out, or anything like that. Right. Or having liens or mortgages coming from the property that they're now trying to get the money from you in order to satisfy this debt. Right. And so it's really important that you go to a title company because, again, one, no lender is going to, give you money and you haven't gone through a title company. But two, it is ensuring that you own this property free and clear from anybody else saying that they own the property. And so we're going to do a thorough check of the history of the property. We're going to ensure that by the time that you get your keys to the property, that we're going to clear up any liens or mortgages that are on the property, and we're going to be working hand in hand with Katie and getting you those final numbers to what you're going to owe, if anything, because I want to say that you all have had some closings to where some people don't even have to come to closing with anything.
Right.
So
Many.
So we're going to be working hand in hand with the lender at that point, making sure that that we have all of those numbers that we need in order to give you that final number to know what you're going to have to come to closing with.
Yes, great.
And title's like the biggest and best day of your life. It
Yeah.
really is.
It is fun because
And it's so much fun.
Yes.
It's so
once
fun.
you get those final numbers and realize it's time to schedule your closing.
It's my favorite call. It's my favorite call when we get to go to Jerry.
And we get to go to Jerry, and we're getting ready to close.
Yes, and it's you know, we definitely try to make it a really fun, because it's very scary, you know, up until the point that you get the contract and you kind of have that little sigh of relief. But then sometimes you're kind of like, okay, I got the house, but are we going to close?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, and
Yes.
so to hear that.
I feel like I hear that a lot on my calls.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, we're going to close. Are we
If we get the house, you're gonna get it. We're gonna assure it. You're gonna get it.
Exactly, exactly. And so, you know, it is definitely, you know, once you come to closing, by that time, Katie and her team has thoroughly gone over everything with you. You already know by the time you come to our table what is going on with your loan. I have had so many closings at our office with other companies, and the lenders don't go over anything with their client, and the client doesn't know anything. And they get to the table and they're like,
What
are we doing?
Like, what's
what are we
happening?
doing? Like, why do I have this? Why do I have this? And, you know, at Title, we're just Title company. All we do is take money and give money. That's all. Like, we take it and then we give it. Just like Alicia said, everyone stays in their lane. You know, we're not here to be the lender. She's not here to be the realtor. We're all going to stay in lane. So, you know, the best thing that I've seen in working with Katie, not only, you know, with Kalisha, but in other transactions with Katie, is that she really goes over everything with her clients. And that's one thing you want from your realtor. I mean, I'm sorry, both your realtor and your lender, is because you don't want to get to the closing table and not have an understanding of what you're signing.
Absolutely. That's the worst.
And
You want to know where you're making your first mortgage payment. You want to know
that small piece, right?
just a minor detail.
Minor details.
You know, you definitely it all matters, and it's a fun day. Being at Title is one of the best experiences, because pre-COVID, you know, we used to do carpool closings, and we'd get in the car together, we'd hang out,
champagne
you know, it was a fun day. Not that it's not as equally as fun now, because it's still one of the biggest days of your life. You know, it really is, and you'll never forget it. So it's really the best way, and to have a title company that is so big on happy endings. It's such a big thing.
Because she understands the process.
She understands. Okay.
It's really good on happy endings.
And at the end of it, you want them to clap for themselves, because they really. Y'all are crazy.
See, I can't with these
Y'all
two.
are crazy. They're still laughing. They're crazy.
I can't with
So
them.
yeah,
Little late. We're
Jerry
going to
is the final fun.
It is the final fun day.
She's
It
the
is
final
fun.
fun.
And our
You get your
team
keys.
is fun. Yeah, you get your keys. You get your keys. You get your keys. And that is like the most, you know, it's really, you know, fulfilling, because a lot of times, you know,
So
these are
fun.
first-time home buyers, and they're doing something that they didn't think was possible. And so,
And you get to be a part of like their special moment. You know,
Exactly.
it's such an intimate, wonderful, beautiful
Yes.
thing that we get to be a part of. It's awesome.
Yeah, it is. So before closing, of course, we will do your final inspection. Anything that was negotiated before we go see Jerry, we're going to make sure that nothing new has popped up, because believe it or not, things can happen that have popped up right before you get ready to get those keys. So it's very important that we go make sure that everything that we did negotiate during that time is repaired and there's nothing new. That's the big. Final walkthroughs are very, very important. So
it's very important. I'll tell you a story about someone, why they're so important. We had this closing schedule. Everything was great, good to go. And they went to the house to make sure everything was good. And everything was good, but they just decided to stop back by the house prior to closing.
like right before.
Like right before.
Yeah.
And because there was one thing they need to do.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
So this is why final walkthroughs are so final. Final walkthroughs are important.
Yeah.
They went back on the final time. And the roof had caved in.
Ooh.
Because the AC had leaked.
Oh,
That's horrible.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, I've never heard that story.
Yeah,
I never heard that either.
I tell you, yeah, we have pictures of it.
And that's on the previous insurance company to
talk about
cover.
that.
Yeah. So that's why it's very
very
like, I know sometimes, people may think it's really tedious to continue to do all these walkthroughs and this, that, and the other.
It's very
But I
important.
promise you guys,
There's a reason.
We on the title side see a lot more than a lot of people, because we're pretty much the final person, and we know whether or not closing is going to happen or not. Like if closing's happening today, it is. If it's not, it's not.
Right.
But we have definitely seen it to where things like that happen. And so, if your realtor's like, we're going to do this final walkthrough, I don't want to hear, like, I want to go to closing. No. You go do your final walkthrough.
absolutely.
That's your money.
You.
Yeah.
Your money. Go
It's
check.
gonna
And
protect
before
you.
you sign to take over as ownership, you
Because guess what?
It's all on you.
Because
Once you
guess
sign the
what?
papers.
Once you sign, so just imagine had they not gone back to make sure that that seller had did what they needed to do,
Ooh,
and they
yeah.
signed those papers. Guess
That's
what?
their home.
Now that seller has a legal argument.
Yes.
Well, that's your home.
Yep. Yes.
How do I know that didn't happen? On your watch.
Yes.
Yeah,
Let's
So-
hope they had good insurance.
Yeah. That part.
Yeah.
I know.
Right.
I got you.
that was actually a great example.
Yeah,
Sure.
so,
was
so
good.
please do it, because there are things that may happen, and you may have a final walkthrough, on Tuesday, and you're supposed to close on Thursday. Maybe you push that closing back because you want to make sure that the little thing that they said they were going to do, they're going to do it.
Yeah.
And do not come to that closing table. And Kalisha won't let you do it.
I have never went to a closing table without doing a final. 24 to 48 hours is my rule.
Now, we
Rule of
postpone
thumb.
closings for it.
Oh, yeah. I
Yeah.
don't play.
It's like,
I don't play
we're not
no
signing today.
games. I'm not
No.
signing, having my clients do anything until we know that house
We've
is
done
good.
it.
Yep,
There you
absolutely.
go.
Yeah.
We've done it recently.
On a new build, we've done it. How
Oh,
about
well,
that?
hey.
How about that? You
Year
would think that
end.
you're buying a new build and
we've
that it
done
would
it.
be all the way ready. Oh,
We've got you all the way.
Yeah, we're not.
We're still stubborn
I'm very
on
big
when
on
you
that.
build.
So,
And there are some realtors who just want to get you to the table because they
Yeah.
want their coins.
No.
But that's not what you want. You want a
No.
realtor who's actually going to make sure that
Absolutely.
the key thing about it is this. What you want is you want your realtor to make sure that they're looking out for your best interest.
Correct.
Not the interest of themselves and trying to get paid at closing.
Right.
But making sure that when you have a realtor who is adamant about making sure you do your inspection, you have the right lender, you have the right insurance company, you have you go through those final walkthroughs, it really makes your experience a lot more smoother
I agree.
and more enjoyable.
Yep. And then, pretty much once we've done that final walkthrough, then you are ready for closing.
You are ready for closing.
You're right. Closing
You're
day.
ready.
That's the best part of it all.
Closing day.
Because all of your hard work, time, efforts, prayers, meditations,
All of it. Every bit of it.
look,
And we will do
headaches,
it all with
maybe
you.
wine nights, whatever you want to call it. Has paid
Everything.
off. Everything is paid off. You should absolutely be giving yourself a round of applause, because that's a huge accomplishment.
thing.
We're clapping for you now.
Yes.
So on closing day, you will definitely bring whatever Katie has, or the lender has
ID,
told
that's
you.
a big thing. And your
ID.
spouse.
Even if you
Always
don't want to
have-
bring
You
that spouse,
are married.
Bring
I
your
understand.
Even if you're not happily married.
right? If you're married, bring your
Say
spouse.
as a married or I'm married.
We
As a
run a
married-
search and we find out you got a husband.
You
They gotta
gotta
bring him.
closing.
Or a wife.
Or what?
Believe it or not,
Yeah,
that's a
gotta
big
come.
deal. People won't bring them.
People
Yeah.
don't know. Bring your
And-
husband or
and
wife.
That's not good.
And we in Texas.
Yes.
So you got to bring a spouse.
Absolutely.
Even if they're not on the mortgage or
You
the
gotta bring your
notes,
spouse.
You got to bring the spouse.
Yes.
So bring ID and spouse. That's about it.
That's about
And
it.
your closing funds, and we will
And your money.
Yeah, we will accept it via a cashier's check or a wire, which is called certified funds.
And we will walk you through how to do all of that too
Yeah.
before closing.
And then also, guys, one of the things that we didn't mention too is, the biggest thing is the lease bailout program.
Oh yeah.
That's one of a program. I used to be a property manager for like 7-8 years. It's been so long ago now. I've been in real estate for so long. We were getting people pre-qualified, and so many people early on in our business were like, "Oh, I'm still in a lease." And I was like, "We're getting these people pre-qualified, Katie. What are we gonna do? I mean, they're waiting. They're gonna wait a whole year. Well, things may be
Right.
different." So I came up. We came up with what it's called a lease bailout program. So everybody that does the application that you're currently renting and you do qualify right now, we will help you get out of your lease. What we mean by that is helping you pay your early termination fee. Typically in your lease agreement, there is it's 85% of your rent amount. It may be different, but typically it's 85% of that rent amount. And whatever that fee is, we're going to give you a credit for that fee to get out. So you'll give a 60-day notice as you're required to. And then we're going to work it to where you're closing around the same time, and you're just paying the regular 60 days. And then we're helping you get, we're giving you the credit for that early termination fee. And also just remember, if you, let's just give an example, you get a house, you close on March 1st. Your first mortgage payment, which is the beauty of this, is not due to May 1st.
Yeah.
All right. So you get that 2 months. So when people are like, I can't pay my rent and to get in this house, well, that's why we work it for you. That's why you have me. So you're able to transition from that, from your apartment straight on, or whatever the situation is, straight on to that mortgage payment. Some people get lucky and skip a payment and not have anything for that month, depending on when they close. And if their lease has already came to an end and they've already put in their notice, then they actually get to skip maybe a month or two, and they don't have to worry about that mortgage. So
I always say every lease, Bella, is a case-by-case basis.
it is.
Though.
It absolutely is.
Because we have run into programs where it's a lot more to get you out of your lease than just the 85%.
Correct.
So it is on a case-by-case basis, but we did create this program so that everybody can have an individual look at what their situation is and to help you get out of that lease if you're in one and you think that you can't buy because of it. So it's really important to do an application with Movement Mortgage.
Yes.
So that we can take a look at your stuff individually and tell you exactly where you are. And if you can buy within the next 6 months, 9 months, year, whatever your goal is, we're going to help you get you there.
Right. So again, guys, I just hope that you look at us and we take this very seriously as we are here giving our time, because we really are passionate about, again, helping you guys achieve that dream. And as you can see from today's event, I mean, we all have our different stories, and we can go on and on and on.
We can. We really can.
You guys. And I see so many questions
and we're
being
gonna get to
asked
every
right
question.
now. Lots of them. Your hand raised. I love it. Anybody that want to stick around, we can help answer that. But we're going to be answering on the chat group. We're definitely going to be answering your questions. We're going to also be putting giving you our information. So if you have any questions for any one of us, we'll have our information up for you guys as well. But this is the dream team that I created, and I love these girls.
We didn't tell
and
them.
we have a giveaway for everyone that has been at this event. That is very important, and that is still here. Hey, Laura, you said it right. You have to still be here on this call right now.
So for everybody that is still here on the call, and we actually have somebody watching every one of your questions that's going to take down your information. Anybody that does an application on my website today or tomorrow, I'm going to give you 48 hours to do the application. It's going to get a free appraisal credited at closing from Movement Mortgage, value of $525.
That's a big deal, y'all.
That's a big deal.
And a free consultation with myself or my team to go over an entire business plan for you.
Perfect.
And I do free consultations too. So you can go to my website, www.theknahomes.com, and you book me first before you want to speak to Katie, because some people get scared to go straight to her. I get it all the time. They're like, I'm scared.
I'm not talking to Katie.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
So I hope that y'all see that I'm not that scary.
She's not scary at all.
At all.
You'll do my level 1 consultation first, and then we'll get you. Any questions that you have, we'll get you right over to Katie. Absolutely. And then Jerry, and then Laura, and then Jerry, and then again.
That's all of us.
So we appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Thank
all
you guys so much for joining.
And a round of applause again for being on this call today. All right, guys. Y'all have a wonderful, wonderful day, and we appreciate you guys.
Bye. Have a good one.
Bye.